The fun part about NBA X's and O's is it's constantly evolving. Coaches tinker with new concepts and plays, and in a copycat league, new trends always emerge. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at a few offensive concepts that gained popularity last season. So, let's get to it. The traditional double ball or double drag screen is definitely not a new trend. It's a staple of many NBA offenses, and here we see the Hawks run the basic play. Trae Young gets 2 consecutive ball screens, and the second screener is the center Capella, and he'll roll to the basket. This allows Trae to attack in the pick and roll, and with the big in a drop, the Hawks take advantage. But a new variation is catching on. Here the Warriors' initial setup looks like a double drag, but notice how the center Looney is the first screener, and the shooter Klay Thompson lines up as the second screener. And as Curry uses the pick, Klay will slip underneath to the strong side wing in front of Looney's roll, and here he gets an open 3. Defenses are so used to defending a traditional double ball screen, this early slip by a shooter can catch teams off guard. For example here, how does Boston end up leaving Klay freaking Thompson open for 3? Well, it looks like Klay is setting an actual pick here, and how Boston and most teams would want to defend this would be to switch the second screen guard to guard and have Jaylen Brown take Curry and Smart take Klay. This would allow their big, Blake Griffin, to stay on Kuminga and avoid a mismatch switching on to Curry. But Klay's slip causes Smart to be late on the switch, and it's an open 3. Or here, watch Troy Brown. As Memphis runs it, Bane appears to be the second screener, but unlike Jaylen Brown, Troy Brown doesn't switch out and ends up staying with the slip. And so the Lakers take away the 3 here, but now Morant can turn the corner. And so it screws with the defense because Wenyen Gabriel, who's guarding the first screener, is thinking, if Bane sets that pick, then Reeves and Brown will switch, and I'm good. I don't need to step up and help on that first ball screen. But when that switch doesn't happen, all of a sudden, Gabriel has to help, and he stops Morant lower than he otherwise would. Essentially, this play aims to cause miscommunication, and it can also create a difficult tag situation for the defense. So here the defender stays with Bane, and Şengün steps up higher than Gabriel in the drop. Now, he would typically rely on the weak side defender to help and tag the roll man, but because Bane is sprinting to the wing, Bane is occupying that help defender. No tag happens, and Clark gets a lob. Also, teams will often empty out that ball side corner when they run this variation. So when Knicks doesn't tag Clark here, there's no other weak side defender from the corner to tag and help either. Here, Memphis also sets up a pin and screen to occupy the defenders from one pass away, and it's a dunk. A few of the teams that ran it the most last season were Golden State, Utah, and Memphis, and as far as I know, there's not a ubiquitous name yet for this specific action. Now this variation is far from unstoppable, and here as Portland runs it, Memphis communicates well defensively and forces a tough shot. But ultimately, it's not an easy play to guard. Let's move on to the next concept now, which isn't a widespread trend yet, but I did see it more last season, which was teams putting a non-shooting center in the corner and using him as a handoff weapon. In particular, the Heat used Adebayo in this manner in their run to the finals. Adebayo isn't a three-point shooter, and so typically off-ball he would be in the dunker spot along the baseline, but at times the Heat would have him spaced to the corner. On its head, that doesn't make a lot of sense, as Bam's defender Brook Lopez can just help off of him and dare him to shoot. But on the pass, Bam would immediately get into a dribble handoff with a teammate, and here Vincent gets an open 3. Especially versus the Bucks, Lopez is such a great rim protector, the Heat needed ways to stretch him out. And so this handoff counters his heavy help. For example, here, on the drive, Bam is in the corner and Lopez helps, and as Bam gets the kick out and goes into the handoff, there's no way Lopez can get out there to the level of the screen. And so here he just stays in the paint as Vincent gets another 3. This was sweet. So here with Bam in the corner, Mitchell Robinson is in help, but on the skip, he anticipates the handoff and sprints out to defend it. But now, Bam can fool him with a keeper. So far, none of these handoffs have been scripted, but just reads within the offense. And this handoff concept certainly isn't new. The Warriors have effectively used it for years. When the defender would help off of Draymond, to counter, he'd get into a handoff with Curry or Clay to free them before his man could recover to help. But it was interesting to see Bam space to the corner as much as he did. Also, Bam may start in the corner, but he always has the option to cut to the basket. Here he does, which puts him in position to get an offensive rebound. And most of the time, Adebayo's defender ignores him in the corner, but here, just Bam standing in the corner gets Robinson to get drawn away from the basket, which opens up the lane for Strus's cut. Now, this didn't always work for Miami. Here, for instance, they have Bam in the corner and Strus in the dunker spot, and we see helping off of Bam, Robinson clogs up the pick and roll. Then on the kick out to Bam, the defender blows up the handoff nicely. The possession stalls out, and Bam being in the corner didn't work this time. And notably, putting centers in the dunker spot is effective. Non-shooting bigs such as Clint Capella feast on dump-offs and putbacks inside. The downside of spacing to the corner are these plays around the rim are less likely for bigs. Plus, few centers can pass or handle on the perimeter like Bam. But putting Bam in the corner was a clever idea. Now, thus far, we've looked at when he would space there in the flow of the offense, but the Heat also ran sets in the playoffs specifically to weaponize his handoffs from the corner. This one is nasty. Here it's actually their other center Zeller in the game, and he'll be in the right corner. Robinson will first curl around Vincent and twist his screen to get Lowry going to his left. And then on the weak side, they're setting up a choreographed handoff between Zeller and Robinson. And here, they get a 3 out of it. As we watch the play again, look how Lowry's drive draws Hartenstein in help, and the defense loses Robinson. On the kickout, Zeller goes right into the handoff with Robinson, and because Robinson is such a great shooter, the defense is in complete panic, sending 3 guys to him. Here it is again. Off the pick, Lowry has the option to look to score if he can, but if not, this skip to the corner is super hard to guard. The misdirection is killer. Robinson is behind the play, and so Murray, who's guarding Robinson, is naturally watching the ball. This allows Robinson to get separation from Murray. Jokic does his best to get out to Robinson, but the long closeouts lead both to just lunge at Robinson, freeing up Bam on the roll. Other teams run similar sets around the league, usually out of a timeout. Here Boston puts their non-shooting big Robert Williams in the corner and used the same skip to handoff concept for Jaylen Brown. Utah also likes this concept, and you know what it reminds me of? The brilliant sideline out of bounds play Brad Stevens helped popularize, where here in 2016, the Celtics are down 4 with 9 seconds left, and so they pretty much need a 3. So they have Jonas Jerebko receive a screen to catch a skip pass near the opposite block, and then on the catch, Avery Bradley gets a screen towards the ball to get a 3. Here last season, Golden State is down 3 with 4 seconds left, and so Steve Kerr calls a very similar play for Klay Thompson, who ties the game. This Utah play, for instance, is not the exact same set of course, but the concept of skipping the ball to a big and quickly getting it to a shooter is a pain to guard. Well, there you have it, guys. Those were some of the offensive concepts that caught my eye this past season. So, thanks for watching.